Hey everybody, it's Shelby with Bonnie Board Games. You asked for it, so you got it. We're going to paint Scythe, the 2 expansion clans for that. I've gone ahead and started with some green and some gray Valspar with the first clan here. We're going to go through. The other clans are pretty dark on this set, so I thought I would prime this guy a little bit lighter green and then darken him up with shades and colors. So first I'm just going to hit him all over with some Biotin green shade to get a little bit of darker green in there. Spots. I've got 2 other shades that are green also that I may hit it in spots with. We'll see how this one looks as color. I don't want it to look neon or anything weird, but I'd like to have it just to be a little bit brighter than a couple of those other clans. Maybe just stand out a hair. But it'll get pretty dark by the time we're done with it. My daughter thinks this clan looks a little bit like a chicken. Like, can we paint one to look like a chicken? I'm like, maybe. Alright, that's pretty much first coat for that. Doesn't look a lot different, but coat after coat it'll get there. I think next I'm just going to put on some shimmering silver. This is kind of my go-to silver color from Hobby Lobby. Looks good on about everything. It's super shiny. Of course it's going to get all doled out by the time we get some shades and washes on here, but be good for now. Picture in the instruction manual has some little bit of yellow on this model on the barrel, like a little stripe. We'll see what happens when we get that far. Now just get these solid colors on. I think probably gonna go ahead and wash it either with the dark green shade, or maybe hit it with the Newland oil once and then a dark green shade also. Just needs to be several shades darker. And this so far is a little too bright. I think we'll be fine. At the end of the day, a little bit of exhaust pipes down here, looks like, or something. The brushes I use are generally just from Hobby Lobby or Michael's on sale. Sometimes I'll get Walmart brushes, but there's that for now. I think we're dry enough, so I'm going to go ahead and hit everything with some Newland oil. This stuff, you know, the more the merrier. Just lather it on pretty heavy and work it. If you're doing 4 models like this at a time, you can also get too much on it. You can kind of dab it with your brush and move it from one model to the other. I think all the rivets this thing has on it will probably dry brush it with some silver or something to make those stand out. Still pretty bright. I may Newland that another time or two. Get the shade I want it. Just no trouble. Keep playing with it till you get it like you like it. I really kind of like how this looks after that first layer of Newland oil soaked in. It's just a tiny bit bright, but all the other models in the game seem to be, you know, pretty dark, so I think this will be a nice contrast on the board. I've got some dry Citadel Necron compound. A lot of times I'll just dab that and brush it on my thumb because I don't want to bother brushing it on a paper towel or whatever. And I think I'm just going to try to go over, make it look a little bit worn. Make all those rivets kind of stand out pretty well doing that. Just have to add a little more detail. And I may hit a little more green here and there on some spots just to give it a little more something, but kind of like how it's turning out. I don't think I'm going to do this uniform all over it because I want these to kind of seem like they're old and been battle worn, and I guess like have a little bit of silver showing, like paint's worn off. They've been tromping through all sorts of stuff and doing a little battling and some threatening to battle. And I have some Citadel Morn Mountain Snow, which I got on sale, but once again, I wouldn't recommend you buying the texture stuff. Just get some cheap acrylic latex paint and mix in some sawdust or sand or dirt or whatever, and it makes pretty close to the same effect. I don't know if you guys want to watch me doing the whole base here, but get the last little bit of it on. As much as you pay for one of these little tubs, no more than you get, especially for basing. It's like, that's just kind of a waste of money. But I was going to do green, but my green foliage was just too much green on green. It didn't really stand out, so we'll put some snow on here. I'll kind of make it pop, make the green stand out, and we'll have the green ring around the base there. But getting there, got a little bit down inside. It's hard to get it shoved in there sometimes without bumping your model, so you gotta be careful. I like the white of the snow texture on the base, although I find on the board it just kind of looks like white and there's not enough shadows on it. So I took a little bit of shades and just put a little bit on the base, some camo shade and a little bit of earth shade, no, sepia, I think a tiny bit of earth shade on there. And so I think it just makes it look like it's tromping through some wheat that's been snowed on a little bit. Just makes it a little better. And I found just some green paint similar to the color of the blocks. I'm just going to paint the bottom edge there for the green. And then I think I'm pretty much done for these models. One thing I might do, I might just dry brush the snow just a little bit to make the peaks of the white pop. I think it'd be kind of cool to have one of the models where it looked like it had been snowed on, like it was going through the snow, but I'm not sure I'm going to do that. So that's just a matter of painting that stripe around the base. This will probably take 2 coats, but that's pretty much what she'll look like there. That's pretty close to the block. I guess it's a little brighter, but that's alright. Alright, we got the commander here. Primed him gray. I think I'm just going to hit everything with some Newland oil real quick so you can really see all the details in there before we start painting. His wolf was mostly all gray, and so was his jacket, so it just made it easier to prime him gray. Just do all this and I have a lot to say while doing this. You guys aren't watching this to hear me talk anyway, I guess. Well, that's that for now. I'm going to go ahead and put a little silver on his gun while I paint silver on the mechs. Just going to put a little ink on his skin here. Take a couple of coats. hints this stuff is, and I'm going over gray instead of white. Got a little bit of chin under his mustache showing. On the picture anyway. Yeah, his hair in the pictures dark, and his wood on his gun is going to be dark, so it's easier, I think, to do this lighter color now in case I get any on the next area. It'll just cover up. Looking forward to painting his kilt. I think it's going to be fun. Let's see if he's wearing anything under there. Oh, nobody knows. We'll just assume not. That's pretty much that, except for we got his legs showing here. Got some on his boot. That's okay, it's going to get covered up. We got Connor and Max here. He's got some red on his kilt. He also has a tiny bit of red on his hat up there, a little tiny red stripe. We'll see if we can't get something along those lines. I don't think the ink's going to be good enough to do the line on his hat, but we'll see. We'll just hit some red on his kilt to start out with. And reds are probably ought to be doing this with something more than ink. I know it'll take a couple thin coats of the ink to get it the right shade, but I do like how it spreads and lets a little of that shading shine through. And this kilt in the picture is pretty dark red, so I think even after I hit it a couple times, I may put one coat of Newland oil over the top. I'll try to get this little spot on his hat like on the picture. Sometimes I find too, if you stick your pinky on the model, it'll help you steady. Ooh, I got too big of a drip. But it is making a nice red spot as long as it doesn't run. Now we can get a couple dots of white on that, and that should look like the thing on his hat. So you can get the picture on the kilt here. Oh, yeah. Don't forget the bottom, because you know people are gonna look up there. I put a drop of raw umber and burnt sienna inks. Raw umber was a little dark. And just going to hit all the packs real quick with that. And the straps. And I think some of it I'll hit with a different shade of brown shade, earth shade. Just to change up the color at the very end. Right? Yeah, but the only time I have to do this is at night when everybody's going to bed. That's decent on there, and I think I'll go ahead and do Connor's stuff about the same. All these packs on his chest are the same. Just hit those while we're at it. Here we go, little pouches on him. That'll get us closer. I know his pouch down here in the picture is more of a dark black leather, so we'll do that different. Alright, so I'm going to put a little burnt umber on his gun stock here. I'm definitely going to wash the model again in some Newland oil to kind of darken things up a bit. Why don't we go ahead and do his boots that color? A little bit darker. And we'll dry brush them. And it'll look pretty good when we're done. We'll add some highlights to it. You guys are paying close attention, you'll know I keep switching paint brushes. But a lot of that's just because I got one color in. So I'll just toss it in the paint pot or coffee cup full of water or a little bit of soap to rinse it out and grab another one just to keep going. This brush here is one of my favorites. They just had some on sale at Hobby Lobby for, I think they're 50% off. I bought a bunch of them. They have a nice small tip. It's good for all his detail work. I think that's pretty good for his boots and his gun there. I didn't get the butt of it, so we'll do that real quick. Woohoo. And while we're doing it, let's just go ahead and hit his little pouches and stuff down here with the same color. We can change them a little bit with our dry brushing. What I did too is I added a little bit, just a tiny little bit on these pouches here where the straps are. Just add little touches. Got something pretty good. Oh, I didn't show you guys either. His red was so red, I just got some black ink and made little stripes. Couldn't do it on video, it's too hard to do it and get the camera this close and have it in my way. I think it looks pretty cool having the dark plaid. In the picture you can barely see it, so I kind of like how it barely shows up. And this will not be this shiny once we spray our matte clear or matte sealer on it at the end. I think we'll go ahead and do just straight up white on his tusks. That's another thing that'll get toned down a lot when we put some Newland oil on it again. I didn't clean my brush from that last step, so there's a tiny bit of off-whiteness to it, which isn't really bad. Maybe his eyeballs. I don't know if I could hit this guy's eyes with this. I don't know, let's be crazy. Ooh, that's scary to do. But we did it. Yay! And add a little burnt or the raw umber on that snout last step too after I turned the camera off. Alright, getting really close. Pretty cool. Actually, on his hat, on each side of the red, there's a little bit of white. So let's see if we can do that. Kind of on the back edge. Boom, boom, boom. If you notice when I do that small stuff, I'll put my pinky on the model. It keeps my finger from wiggling. I'm not freehanding as much. It gives me a solid base to work with. Sweet! His hair in the picture is virtually black. So I just add a little black to what I had left over of that raw umber. Just try to do only his hair, not his hat or anything else. This black, it's going to be hard to cover up if you mess up. But the earlier steps, if you mess anything up, you can definitely cover it up with that black. That's where I like having the new paintbrush with a nice super fine tip on it. Oh no, I got some on his face. That'll happen. Like he's got some bangs hanging down. You guys can't see is I've got a magnifying glass in my face and a iPod on a tripod, and I'm working kind of around it. It makes it hard to get this right up to my face where I like to work on them. But I don't know, what do we think? Does it look like hair? I'll probably knock that down with some white and put some more flesh color on it. Next step, we'll just do the flesh shade on his skin, and then we'll new and oil it all and dry brush it, and hopefully be done soon. Now that I got the face fixed, just going to do a tiny bit of Reichland flesh shade. So hard to see, but he does have a tiny cigar in his mouth. I painted the tip white earlier. I'm going to put a little bit of a yellow on it. Just the tiniest dot. And then I'm also going to put just a tiny dab of red. Could not do this on video because it's almost impossible for me to do. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I got a little hair here out of my head and dabbed a little black ink on it to do his pupils. And that's such a pain, but it turns out pretty good sometimes. Actually, this set of Scythe is going to be for commission I'm doing, so I'm like, I better do a little extra and put some eyeballs on this guy. I think I'd like his tassels to stand out a little bit, so I'm going to put a little green on them. In the picture, they don't even really show up in the picture. But since he's a green model, I thought that might look pretty cool. Kind of liking where it's at, so I'm going to just new and oil the heck out of it again. I'd like his bore to be a little more dark for sure. Make the packs look a little more weather worn. Like sometimes when you get too much, you can just kind of wick it up with your brush. Alright, that's looking pretty decent. I'm going to spread this around a bit. I'm waiting for all that shade to dry. I'm going to go ahead and put the little bit of the dazzling metallics. Got some silver buttons here and there. So just a dot will do ya. On his sword. Has anybody else seen Princess Mononoke? That boar is freaking me out. It's a anime movie. It's got some crazy boars in it. It's not all his buttons. Sometimes after doing a wash like that, I'll hit the edge of the rifle, you know, tune up some spots. It's a little shinier. Alright, now I'm going to dry brush on some Longbeard Gray here and there. I usually just wipe it on my thumb. I don't even think this will be bad on some of the packs. Make them look a little worn. Definitely want to do his outfit in it. Boots. It's my detailing pop. Pretty much anywhere there's some highs that'll stand out with a little bit of detailing. I think all we have left is the base on this guy. I've already shown you how to base the mech, so I'm not going to go through it again here. But show you the finished product here in a second. Alright, one more faction down. One more to go. Once again, this is Shelby with Bonding with Board Games, and thanks for watching.